Cool, man. So yeah, I appreciate you taking the time to come in and talk about just some of your experiences throughout your life, and what you have going on throughout music. You're obviously a very large influence on most people that I've ever met that at least know
No,
who you are.
thank you.
In drum corps, everybody knows at least who Daniel is, which is awesome. That's a testament to all the things that you've done with your life and the time that you've had to do all this. How old are you again? I don't remember. I
How
actually
old
don't
am I?
remember. I think you're 31.
Oh, I'm 30.
30. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm
My bad. I
30.
screwed that
Close enough.
up. Close.
What
Yeah, I
difference
know.
does it make?
I'm already 27. I'm getting there.
You're pretty much 31 too. Welcome to the club.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of, yeah. It's all good. So yeah, just to start, I guess where did you go to school? Where did you start? Like college. We'll start with college. Where did you go to college?
College. I went to San Jose State. Went to school two times.
Really?
Once for music and once not for music.
Oh wait, what was the second time? Was that like physical therapy?
Second time, yeah, I was in
That's what I thought.
physical therapy.
Yeah.
I went to San Jose State for percussion performance back in
Right.
2008 to 2013
Right.
on that good old 5-year plan.
5-year plan. Dang. I'm hoping that mine doesn't take that long, but I mean, realistically, I know it probably will. I'm at West Valley right now, so I'm trying to do like the smart, what I think is the
Yes,
smart thing, where I
yeah, it
do
is. It
the
is.
yeah, just the gen ed stuff. And they put me on just an associate's for transfer degree.
Hmm.
But the director there, Mr. Davies or Davis, I don't know how to pronounce it. He told me I should just do an associate's, just
Uh-huh.
because I think it's 60% of the classes that I finish there will be already done for San Jose State. So hopefully
Yes.
I'll be done before, but I
If
doubt
I
it.
could go back and do it all over again, I would have gone down that road.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Is there anything you would have gone into except for music or physical therapy? Like what? I don't know if you had like
Mm,
a different passion at the time when you'd start.
at the time, it was only music.
Okay,
That
that's
was
fair.
that was all I knew.
Yeah. The only other one for me would have been like cooking. Like I've always wanted to go to
Yeah.
like culinary school or something like that,
I
which I
I
guess
probably
is
would have gone video production
really.
because that was something that I was doing back then. I was making videos like 2 or 3 a week
Oh wow.
just for fun.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
would
I
like make
remember. I
videos.
remember your especially what was it, like the 2003 snare line video, but you did it with yourself. Like
Yes, I
you
would
put a
make
bunch of
videos of
yourself.
me
Yeah.
drumming with myself.
I thought that was cool because at the time, like I didn't know you could even do that. I
I
remember
didn't
seeing that
either.
when I was in high school before I even knew you. Which I was like, dude, how did this guy do that? That's so cool. I couldn't
Magic.
figure it. Yeah. So yeah, what made you want to get your percussion performance degree? Like what? Because that's I know most music people that go into college get just like a gen ed music degree or like a
Hmm.
education based degree.
Yeah. Well, originally the plan was I wanted to be in the Blue Man Group.
Oh, really? I actually didn't know that.
When I was in high school, I wanted that. And I watched that DVD so many times. I had the parts memorized. I would like put paper plates on the couch and my little bell kit and I would play along to the DVD,
Really?
con- convinced that if I know what they're doing, I could show up and I could do it.
That's awesome.
And so I emailed them when I was like 15 years old. I
Really?
emailed I emailed the Blue Man Group and I was like, "Hey, I do drumline. Can I do that?" And they said they typically
You
look
actually
for
got a
people.
response?
Yeah,
Oh, dude, that's so
I
cool.
did. They said that something they look for is typically like some college experience.
Hmm.
That's all I remember from that email. There was more to it, but that's all I remember. I was like,
That's
okay,
fair.
college experience.
That's fair.
Let's do it. Percussion performance.
Percussion performance.
And yeah, so that really triggered it in that direction.
Right. That's cool.
Yeah, and then I'm in school and I'm learning about auditions, and there's a height requirement that I don't reach.
You're taller than me though, so
The minimum was like 5'10".
for a Blue Man Group?
Yes.
That's kind of weird that they have a. Well, I guess if they're doing like the whole clone thing,
Yeah.
kind of. All right, that makes sense. It wouldn't make sense to have a
Yeah.
guy that's like 5'3". I mean, you're not 5'3", but
No, I get it. I was like 5'6" at the time.
yeah. Amanda
And I
still
was like, okay,
argues with me. I'm 5'8". I know I'm 5'8". The doctors say I'm
that's what I
5'8",
say.
but she's like, "You're not 5'8", because I'm like 5'6".
Well, tell
I'm
her,
like, well,
let you
yeah,
be 5'8"
yeah. Can you just give me this one back? Leave me alone.
on a good day. 5'8" on a good day.
So yeah, how would you describe your college experience? I know a lot of people struggle kind of through, especially the music. I'm having a little bit of a tough time. You know, it's a
Yeah.
lot. There's a lot of stuff that you have to do, even if you're comfortable being a solid musician that has done drum corps like we have.
Yeah.
I'm finding it even kind of difficult. How is it for you?
Well, there's two parts of it. There's like the percussion performance part, which was probably like 15 to 20% of my experience. And then there's like the academic part, which is like 80% of it.
Right.
Um, the performance part I felt like it came pretty natural to me.
Okay.
I understood that I need to put in the time if I want to execute something on stage. And sometimes that was 5 minutes, and sometimes it was like 5 hours, and sometimes it was 5 days of 5 hours. But it's
Yeah.
like I understood that if I'm going to be doing this on stage, I have to be able to do it.
Right.
So I'm going to put in as much time as it takes.
That makes sense. That's
Yeah.
cool.
So the playing part, I felt pretty confident with, but the academic part was pretty. It
Yeah.
was lackluster.
Yeah. Did you take like you had to take like music theory and all that too, right?
Oh man, music theory was so hard for me back then.
Yeah, it's difficult.
It's difficult, and you put that on top of someone who doesn't want to learn it.
Yeah.
It's a recipe for
I
failure.
feel like I don't know. Like I went into it at least where I'm at now. Obviously I'm not graduated with yet, but I enjoy it. It's hard. It's really
Yeah.
difficult, but it's exciting knowing that. Plus, I haven't been a student like that in a long time, so it's
Yes.
exciting to get back into that type of a mode and
Yeah.
learning about all those things. But yeah, I totally get it. It's
I appreciate it more now, but when I was 19 years old, I was like, how is this going to help me play percussion?
right. That makes sense.
When you're 19. Now, okay, if I had learned it a little bit better, I'd probably be a better mallet player.
Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I would understand harmony
Yeah.
and patterns a little better.
Did you like actively play mallets in high school, or was it
Oh
kind of
yeah.
just like you had to, or did you enjoy
Um
it? I guess that's a better way to put it. Did you enjoy playing it,
yeah.
or yeah?
Yeah, I had a little keyboard. I practiced at home on an electric Casio keyboard with my fingers.
So
Two
you
mallets, two fingers,
doing
and I
four
learned my
mallets
music like
with
that.
like
Yeah.
the
Sometimes I do that, but that is how I learned mallet parts, and I would
hmm,
show up to school and I'd be able to play it.
that's interesting. That's super
You
cool. I
do
didn't.
do what you got to
Do
do.
you have so? Do you have any tips for people that might be struggling through either high school level or college level music classes?
Yeah, well, if you're struggling because you don't want to comprehend it, then you really gotta reevaluate why you're there. And this is me talking to 19-year-old me.
Okay.
If you're struggling because you want to comprehend it, then you definitely seek guidance. People are willing to help those who want to learn,
That makes sense.
always. But when
Yeah.
you don't want to learn, who wants to teach someone who doesn't want to learn?
Right. I don't know if you agree, but I think that the people, because I've taught students like that, as I'm sure you have, that like they just don't want to do that. They just want to play drums. They want to play marching snare drum, or
They
in
want to stay
concert band.
safe,
Yeah, they want to just play the snare. You
play
know,
it safe.
I would say that if you intend on going into music, any form of music, do even
Hmm.
like Alex, Mr. Christensen, he has
Uh-huh.
to, for his degree, he has to learn mallets and he has to learn music theory. So
And I hear he has to track across the field with quads on at 180 beats per minute for 20 yards. I heard.
I know, right? That's good. Um, but I would say you're almost, if you intend on doing that, you're doing a disservice
Yeah.
to your future career not just education, but you're going to be behind. Like I said, I'm already feeling behind because I didn't take as big of an interest in it as I could have, and now I have to catch up a little bit. What would you say would be your biggest takeaway from your college experience?
I would say definitely start with community college and gain some life experience before you make that decision of what you want to invest your life into. Because when you're fresh out of high school, you really don't know much about what's going on in the world, and it's nothing against a high school graduate.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the fact that they've been alive for 18 years and they've been in this bubble of high school. Most of them.
Right.
I was one. But to like get out in the world and see what exists, it's so much more meaningful and effective towards, you know, guiding your life in a direction of purpose.
Right.
And the second time I went to school, I was like 25, 26. Um, I would say you get out what you put into it.
Okay.
If you go hard in it, you'll get a lot out of it. But if you half-ass it, you're gonna get half-ass results.
Yeah. Full ass. You need full ass. That makes sense. Because you jumped straight into university, right?
Yeah, I
I
went to San Jose State first,
right.
and then I went to community college second.
For
And
physical therapy or music?
yeah, for physical therapy.
Oh, okay.
And if I'm being 100% transparent, I learned a lot more in community college than I did at San Jose State.
Dang.
And, part of that might have been my desire to learn.
Mm-hmm.
The other part might have been smaller class sizes.
Yeah, I've noticed that so far.
Yeah, teachers who aren't spread thin trying to teach like several hundred students.
Right.
They only have to teach like 25 students.
Right.
It's like if you're teaching a percussion program and you have 1,000 kids. Like, how effective can you be?
It's just going to be a lot of generalities. And
yeah,
I hope you get it. If you don't, come to office hours. And if you don't,
yes,
whatever.
Exactly.
So what about Logan? Obviously, like I said, Logan is a little bit, I'd say for most of the population of musicians, a little bit of an outlier, just because most schools in the nation aren't as advanced as Logan is. How would you describe your experience at Logan all 4 years that you were there?
Well, when I went there, I was just this little freshman showing up with like a 16-ounce Crystal Geyser water bottle, my hat, my big old wristwatch. Like,
you wore that in B Corps too.
I'm ready. Yeah, I'm ready to go. What do I do? I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I just kind of show up. But honestly, it felt like it does the other programs I'm in.
Right.
For the most part, you just, people show up, people do the work, and some people are salty during the day, and some people are not. But I think for the most part, there was this expectation amongst everybody to meet a certain standard.
Okay.
And it was the students who had that expectation of each other.
Right.
And, of course, the staff has expectations of the students, but it's very student leadership driven.
Yeah. Do you think that, how do you, going off track a little bit from the list,
okay,
but how do you as a teacher supplement that idea to the students?
Of outperforming the previous year?
Yeah. Because like I said, referencing my college or my high school experience, there wasn't really a lot of oversight as far as leadership goes. It was just like, all right, you're drum captain, do your thing.
Yeah. Well, I think it helps to first build trust within the tribe. Like, this group of people, they got to want to listen to what you have to say. Yeah, and they got to trust your word. And then from there, I think you got to convince them that they can be better than last year if they try to. If they try to be. And it's about perpetuating this cycle of just being a stronger ensemble than last year.
Okay.
And I feel like that's achievable. It's not telling them you all have to get a certain score. I didn't
Yeah.
say you had to outscore the previous year.
I
I
think
just
that's
think
a
like
really important line to not to define success on score.
yeah, because that's subjective by a judge,
Yeah.
and who knows if this judge is tired when they're watching.
Yeah.
Maybe this judge has insane diarrhea, and they're holding it in while they're watching your show.
The whole day. Just
Yeah,
ah.
you know, you get to the snare break, and they got the stomach,
Yeah. The
and they're
gurgles.
totally yeah, they're not even paying attention to half
Right.
the stuff.
Right.
That can happen.
Yeah.
That does happen.
Yeah. Or you have a band director that's on like achievement one night and it's like, all right, well,
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying, but no.
Yeah, you never know what you're gonna get.
Right.
You never know what you're gonna get, and that's okay because judging is hard.
Right.
Judging is tough.
Yeah.
It is exhausting.
You've
You
judged
might
before,
need
right?
you might need to go to the bathroom. I have judged elementary school drum line.
That's rough.
I was hyping the sticks up, dude. When they all
Yeah.
got it,
Yeah.
you just hype. Oh, sticks up. All right. Oh, this kid's bobbing his head. GE right there.
I don't know about those quarter notes, but you're moving. All right.
Yeah, it was very low pressure, but
Right.
I was still tired from it.
Right. Yeah, I can imagine.
So yeah, you just got to outperform the previous year.
What were your favorite years? Like shows, performances, whatever you think.
Definitely senior year. Senior year, that whole organization was super strong.
Right.
And the marching band show was called Stormy Present. And the percussion section had a massive role in the show. And I think that's why I liked it a lot.
Just your
Yeah.
role in the show.
Yeah. Plus, that was the largest drum line that I got to be a part of in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the first time we had 4 quads. I was like, whoa.
4. You guys had 4? Oh my god.
We had 4 quads. I think there was 5 snares, maybe 6.
Oh my god.
Yeah, 5 basses, 4 or 5 cymbal line, and the front ensemble was massive, and they
They're
were
still
good.
really big. Yeah.
That front ensemble, oh man, that year they had this run in the show. It was like a minute long, and it was just cranking on the keys, and I learned it
Yeah.
just because I thought it was cool.
You just felt like learning it.
Yeah,
My camera shut off.
yours did.
Yeah. I'm still here, but my camera shut off. I'll fix it. Go ahead.
But yeah, I wanted to play that run with the front ensemble section leader.
Yeah.
There's Tien. Do you know Tien?
Yeah, I know him.
I wanted to play with him, so I did.
That's cool. That's super cool. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have. I admired it, but I was like,
No,
I'll just
it was
play
so
16
cool.
notes. It's all good.
It was one of those things like when we would show up to the field and they were already rehearsing and they were running that part, I would just stand in front of them, like my jaw on the floor. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Totally nerding out, but like hyping my friends.
Right.
That's another thing that program does is like the sections, they support each other. And we got opportunities to do that.
Right.
You know, like the battery got chances to go watch the front ensemble. The front ensemble got chances to watch the battery.
Do you have any like funny stories you want to share?
Yeah, I have one that I love. It is so freshman year, we went to Scotland and London, and we didn't do marching winter percussion that year because we were going on this big trip. You know, so financially, it was in the best interest of everyone to just do concert percussion. Some standstill. And we learned this piece called Fire Dance that Vince Oliver wrote.
I know that piece.
I loved that piece. It was so cool. Another one where I was like, "Oh, I want to learn these mallet parts. I don't care if I'm playing. I don't care if I'm playing the cowbell and a suspended cymbal. I want to learn the mallet parts." And so we learned it, and it was really, really good.
Yeah,
it was strong. We took that to Scotland, and there was 2 concert percussion pieces we played. One for like the younger class and one for the upper class. And I was fortunate enough to be in both of them as a freshman. Cool. Yeah, again, why I was playing cowbell and suspended cymbal in it. You know, I wasn't the lead mallet player.
That's such an odd like.
There was bongos too. Okay. There was triangle. But anyways, so we show up, we play the first piece. It was called Farandole,
Okay.
and I'm wearing this white dress shirt.
Yeah.
And the next piece is Fire Dance on stage. I got to do a transition. I got to do a costume change. I got to get my equipment. I'm going from vibraphone
Okay.
with a white dress shirt to auxiliary and this red t-shirt that exposes like a little bit of the chest,
Like was it like your high school band shirt?
No, it was a shirt just for Fire Dance.
Okay. All right.
It was a nice shirt.
Okay.
I felt suave in it.
Okay.
So I'm backstage and I'm getting my stuff together. I'm opening the toy chest. I'm like, where's my triangle? Where's my cowbell? And I'm getting my stuff, and then all of a sudden, I hear the piece start. I hear them starting,
Oh
like
no.
the ominous rolls. I'm like, are you kidding me? Still in my wife's. So I like grab my shit, grab my stuff, and I go out on stage. I'm walking on stage. The show is already on. In my white shirt. Everyone's wearing red. I'm wearing white. And I set up my stuff. I come in my triangle. And I'm just like on the verge of tears.
Oh no.
And yeah, I played through it.
Did anybody say
So,
anything?
afterwards,
What'd they
they
say?
apologized. He's like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't know that you weren't
He
there."
apologized to you?
That the guy who started it,
Yeah, that's fine. Just be like, yeah. Yeah, what's your
yeah, he just happened to start it early, and yeah, that was when the show started without me.
Dang.
In my white shirt. I just remember like the feeling of walking on stage,
Yeah.
holding a bunch of crap.
Oh no. All right, wait.
Yeah,
I
try
mean,
not to drop it.
yeah. At least you're in the back and nobody really well, hopefully nobody really saw.
Oh no, everyone saw.
Uh,
Everyone saw.
Adam has a question. What was it like to work with other percussionists in the department, and do you have any stories or experiences with them?
Working with the other percussionists. Well, honestly, the percussion section at San Jose State, that was my favorite part of going to school there.
Right.
Like that experience with them, like in the studio and outside of the studio, was definitely my most cherished part
Mhm.
of that experience. So you got to know your colleagues.
Right.
But yeah, we were a family. We worked together. We cried together. We did a lot of things together. Um, some stories. We would also fight. We would bicker.
Yeah, I'm sure.
We would fight with each other. We get frustrated with each other.
Yeah.
We call each other out on our shit straight to our faces,
Yeah.
like deliberately trying to hurt the other
Just
person.
piss each other off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's kind of what you do when you're young,
Yeah,
when you're young and immature.
that's fair.
It's all out of love.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the season, I'm sure you guys
Oh
ended
yeah,
fine.
yeah. I love all of them.
You still talk to most of them? I
Yeah,
mean, I know you talk to Adam, but
yeah.
that's cool.
I still talk to a majority of the ones from my graduating class.
So, going to drum corps and your career with that, you started with B corps in 2009, I think. 2009.
Yep. Oh,
Right.
nine,
And then
baby.
you were there till 2011.
Yep.
What was the transition like for you from high school to even open class drum corps? Just starting with that.
It was tough, man.
Yeah.
Well, my first year of drum corps happened after my first year of college.
Okay.
That's when I went into it. And I didn't do any sort of physical preparatory work, no training, no diet. I just kept eating my Hot Pockets and Hot Cheetos, man.
Hot Pockets and Hot Cheetos.
Hot Pockets and Hot Cheetos till May.
Wingstop.
That's what Wingstop,
Ooh.
Tostitos, pizza rolls.
Yeah.
That was what I ate. That was all I knew how to eat. So yeah, I went into it with that kind of preparation, and it was the hardest thing I ever had to do.
Right.
There were days where my legs felt numb,
Right.
and there were days where like I would just be in so much pain. But
Right.
I signed up for this,
Yeah.
and I can't just leave. So physically, it was the hardest thing I ever had to do. But
Right.
part of that was because I didn't do any sort of
Preparatory
preparation.
work. That makes sense.
And it was all the physical demands. The playing part, I could hang. I got down with the playing. On stands,
Yeah, dude,
we're
that's
good. Let's do it.
yeah.
It wasn't perfect, but
Night block.
that
Ooh.
it was manageable. Ooh, yeah, my favorite.
I always got a boost of energy at night block.
Yeah,
I don't know
sun
what it
goes
is.
down. Oh, yes. Temperature drops.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was hard. And also like consecutive days of rehearsal.
Yeah.
I had never done that before.
Right.
And so like weekends was like, okay, Fridays, okay, Saturday's hard, but Sunday's not as long, so
Right.
I'll survive. And then you hit like July, and then there was 5 days of rehearsal in a row.
July at Mars was rough. It was pretty rough.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
5 days of
Cause
rehearsal. And I just remember fearing that time
yeah.
at the beginning of the season, like, oh God, it's getting closer. 5 days.
Yeah. I
And
actually
then
sorry, go on. Go on.
when you're in it, it's like, all right, it's not that bad.
Yeah. I actually thought that open class in some aspects was kind of harder than world
Mm-hmm.
class.
Yeah.
Even, I mean, you have the physical aspect of the show being more difficult for world class, but the tough thing for me, because I was at Mandarins the year before, and then I came to B Corps. The thing that
Mm-hmm.
was hard for me was how many rehearsals you had. Like in world
Mm-hmm.
class, you have all days, which is like a month and maybe some change.
Yeah. But then you have show days.
Yeah, and then you're on tour, and it's exciting
Mm-hmm.
because you're on tour. So you
Mm-hmm.
probably have at least the same amount of rehearsals, but it's spread out and it's sprinkled throughout the season, and at least you're in a different environment, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with B Corps, it was just like you had pre-tour, which was like the Fresno, Stanford, and Sacramento
Yeah.
weekend, and then you had like another almost month of all days or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was a long time, and it was really not just physically demanding, but it was kind of mentally draining too, because I was like, God, I just want to get out of Mars. Like I don't want to be here anymore. By the end of it, you're just
Yeah.
sick of looking at the dirt. What you won in 2009, 10, and 11? You won all 3 years, right? How was that?
Yeah.
What
They
was
did.
what was it like for you?
What was it like? It was exciting, of course. It feels good. Feels good to come out on top.
Right,
But I also feel like every year went in with the mindset like we are going to be the best
right,
that we can be. Like we have that expectation of ourselves and of each other. And we talk about it a lot. And when you talk about it, you start to bring it into reality. So it was a lot of just like show up. Don't be the guy
yeah,
who's holding us back.
yeah,
Don't be that guy.
yeah, right,
It was a lot of it.
right.
Don't be that guy.
You guys have a pretty good feeling, because I remember like 11 coming into the Blue Devils organization for me was always like a dream, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds kind of weird, but like once you start and you feel that gel, it's like, dude, we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna be really good. Like this,
Yes.
we're gonna be really good this year. You know?
Yeah. You have to have that confidence in
Yeah,
yourself and that belief. Because when you believe it, you act on it
yeah,
so much more powerful. Versus if you don't actually choose to believe it, then it's a lot harder to act on it.
right. What advice do you have for anybody that might be starting out their drum corps? Well, I mean, not right now because it's all
Yeah.
gone, but when it
Yeah.
starts up, there's people that'll be coming out for the first time. Do you have any advice
Yeah.
for newbies?
Train your body. If you can be strong going into the season, you will enjoy the season so much more.
Yeah.
You can enjoy it and max it out, or you can hobble your way through.
Yeah.
And you will get stronger. You will learn a lot. You will make great memories, but I just feel like it would be so much more enjoyable and so much less suffering.
Yeah.
If you just go into it strong.
Yeah.
For me at that age, I didn't have anyone in my life who was like a mentor in the fitness realm.
Right.
I had no one. And so like when you don't have any guidance and you don't know where to look and no one's talking to you about this stuff, then it just kind of goes un unnoticed. You don't really do it.
That makes sense. Yeah, I feel like that's changed. It's definitely gotten better. You know, like the last year that I was at B Corps compared to when
Hmm.
I was at B Corps, a big difference in the athleticism of all the members. There's still a
Yeah, and shows
couple
are
that
getting
are new.
harder.
Yeah, yeah, and I think like you said, they're more mainstream about the physical education
Yes.
too, which is
That's
awesome.
communicated. It's
Yeah,
communicated clearly now.
right. Yeah, I know. What about when you went back, or not to high school, but when you ended the summer? What was it like for you, um, ending tour every year? Even talking about like blue coats, what was it? What was it like to
Uh,
you to go back home?
I was so happy to not hold quads.
Okay,
If I think about like number one thing, it felt good
you
to
just
not wear
yeah
quads
sit down on
for
the
a day.
couch.
It did. It did.
Ah,
Yeah. To do anything without that weight on your body. Um, I always liked the end of the season because I worked so hard. It was I hustled, I worked so hard,
right.
and that that can't last forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
That can't last forever. So to like work hard, always have a good ending in the year. Feel like I got stronger, I got better. That feeling of improvement,
Mhm.
and then I get to go home and feel that at home.
Right. Kind of like I always liked that, like getting to kind of sit down and just take in for a second, like what did I just do? Like I just did
Yes,
something that was
incredible.
life changing. Yeah. And
It's incredible.
it was always really hard for me going home,
Hmm.
um just because my, not to go too in depth, but my personal life outside of drum corps wasn't the greatest. um
Yeah,
so for me, drum corps was where I wanted to be all the time. It was my escape from
yeah.
everything,
Oh
and
yeah,
having
it totally is.
that family and that friend presence that's around you, going home from that and knowing, and it got worse every consecutive year that I did it because I knew
Uh-huh.
what was going to happen. I knew that, like, all
Back to
right, yeah,
reality.
like Mandarin's my first year. I was like, oh man, this sucks. I'm not gonna see anybody tomorrow morning, you know.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, maybe we'll still talk, we'll hang out. But as the years went on, I realized like that's kind of gonna go away. Like people just, and it's just natural. It's nobody's fault. It's just,
Yes.
it just goes away. You don't talk to people as
Yeah.
much. You know, even your
Yeah.
closest friend, like your bus partner, you probably won't talk to him as much anymore. You know.
Yeah.
And the longer I did that, the more sad I would get every year because I was like, damn it, like
Mm,
I know what's gonna happen a month from now. We're gonna talk for like a week,
yeah.
and then we're just gonna stop talking. And it happened every single
You
time.
just stop
Yeah,
stop investing in those relationships.
yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna be your friend because you're not gonna talk to me in a half a year.
Well, I mean, we still talk, but not like every day. Sharing
Yeah.
jokes, memes, drumming together. You know, just
Yeah.
doesn't
You said
happen.
Sharon jokes, and I thought of somebody named Sharon
Sharon,
jokes.
sharing jokes. Hi, I'm Sharon Jokes. I have a very deep voice. ARN bassist says, "I need a podium." Podium, like I, I need a podium. That's pretty good. Would you do a segment where we just come up with all these? Mine is still, my favorite is still Aaron Buttons and Aaron Fingers.
Aaron Finger, that's a classic one.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
I remember they would say that at Lee when I first started working there over the box. They would be like, brass Aaron Fingers. And I would be like, who is
who's
Aaron
Aaron
Fingers?
Fingers? Yeah, I remember that.
Get it together, man.
Is he related to Aaron Buttons?
Yeah.
So yeah, going on to coats.
Mhm.
Um, how was that? Like, how was that experience going from open class, like a good open class core,
Mhm.
to blue coats?
It was awesome. It was scary because I went to audition. I dropped every dollar that I had to just get a flight out there.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And I actually wasn't gonna go because I couldn't afford the plane ticket
Mm-hmm.
until a friend suggested looking into two one-way flights
Hmm.
rather than a round trip flight.
I would think that's
And it
more
was
expensive.
Yeah, it was like 150, $200 cheaper.
Oh wow.
I saw that. I was like, all right, I guess I'm going. And I just remember the night before the flight, like, oh God, I'm nervous.
Yeah.
Like,
Couldn't sleep.
I don't know what to expect. This is a new core.
Yeah. You're not in your
Um,
home state.
well, this is callbacks that I'm thinking of. The audition itself was in SoCal.
Oh, okay.
That was a little less intimidating because Roger Carter was there,
Mm-hmm.
and he was my instructor in high school. It's like, all right, I know him. He knows me. Instructor was Jeremy Summers
Mm.
and Amador. I was like, okay, I kind of know Jeremy. I know
Yeah.
Amador.
Yeah.
So it
That's
was a
good.
little
At
less
least you had
intimidating.
that familiarity.
Yeah, but then callbacks, making that financial commitment to like fly out there,
Mm-hmm.
um, it was a little scary. And I got
Yeah.
there, and I just remember I had this throbbing headache the first night. Like my head was pulsing because I was dehydrated.
Mm.
I woke up early, got the flight, went out there, didn't
Flying
drink a lot of,
dehydrates you too.
yeah, I didn't drink a lot of water. And
Wow.
then I remember we have to dut. They're all about the duts there.
Yeah.
And I would dut and my head would just hurt so bad. So I eventually just started mouthing it, but making it look
Yeah.
like I had intensity. I was
Yeah.
like I moved my jaw, but I couldn't do it because my head was hurting so much. But um, yeah, they gave out the sheet music the first day. I was hyped.
Yeah.
I Sight reading has always been one of my strengths
Mm-hmm.
because I've read so much music.
Right.
So they hand out the beats. I look at it. I go through it for like 10, 15 minutes, make sure I'm comfortable. And then at the end of the rehearsal, I go straight to bed. I shower, go to sleep.
Yeah.
But people chose to stay up to keep practicing. I was like, nope,
Yeah.
I am going to bed. People ask, "You want to stay up and practice with me?" I was like, no, I want to
Yeah.
go to sleep.
You knew what your body needed. Yeah.
Yes, my body needs sleep, and I can already kind of play that.
Yeah.
So I'd rather wake up early and then prep in the morning,
Right.
which is what I did. Slept, slept so well. And then I woke up supercharged, and the audition process was pretty intense with the drumming. My hands got tired.
Dang.
That they can last for a long time, especially when you're in your prime.
Yeah.
But my hands, they got tired. It's a lot of solo playing.
Yeah.
But I went in like, this is my spot. That spot is mine,
Yep.
and
You got it.
I'm gonna drum like it's already mine.
Yeah.
There's no pressure. I'm not gonna lose the spot.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
already mine.
Yeah.
But that's the mentality, at
Yeah.
least.
Exactly.
And then I got my contract at lunch. It was lunch or dinner on Saturday,
Hmm.
like very early. I got it with Taha. You know Taha Ahmed?
I don't. I know the name, but I don't think
Uh-huh.
I've ever met him.
Uh-huh.
I don't think so.
He's another great designer, educator in the game.
What is he?
From Texas.
Oh, okay.
He's a snare drummer.
Okay.
Um,
What did he do for Coates?
he was a snare drummer.
Oh, okay. Wait, so you
Hmm.
got it with him? Or he
Yeah, we
gave
both
it
got
to
ours at
you?
this. No, we got him at the same time
Oh,
from Mike
okay. Then I'm
Jackson.
thinking of somebody else. I was thinking
Yeah,
that
no,
Taha was a staff member.
oh no, I got mine from Mike Jackson,
Oh, cool.
and that felt so good
Right.
to like work so hard and earn it.
Yeah. Well, it was yours, dude. I mean, you already said it was yours, so you might as well.
Exactly.
Can you imagine
You go
going
in.
in and just being like, "Hey, can I just get my contract now? I'm gonna make it."
Oh my God. I'm sure there are people like that.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure
I'm
it's
sure
happening.
there are people like that.
Did anything change for you going from B Corps to Coates as far as like how you prepared yourself?
Yeah, I ran a lot more.
Okay.
I had this goal to hit a 6 minute mile before I left for Coates.
Oh, wow. That's
And
pretty fast.
I was running and, I chipped away at it. Like 1 second faster than the day before. That's progress. Sometimes it was 10 seconds, but I just remember I ran the same route and had the same starting point, same ending point, listened to the same music.
Yeah.
And I remember telling myself, all I need to do is just push myself for a little longer than yesterday. I remember I ran hard and right around this area, I slowed down. No, I'm going to slow down up there.
Yeah. That
And
helps finding a consistent, even down to like the music, because it's just a
yes,
routine. That just turns into a routine.
yes, it was routine, and I made it happen. I think I got down to like 554
Dang,
before I left for codes.
that's pretty good. That's really good.
I learned my lesson, man.
So you trained mostly your body more than, well, I mean, obviously you learned the music and the style and all that, but you felt like you put
Hmm.
more effort into your
My
strength
body.
and your body.
Yeah,
Okay.
I put probably 70% of my focus into training my body,
Okay.
just because when your body deteriorates, so does your playing.
Right.
You know, you could be the most
Start reaching over.
fantastic drummer in the world, but if you can't hang on the field, that won't get to shine.
Right.
So I
And
did a
that's
lot of full body strengthening.
right. Did you ever practice like with your drum on? Like at
Mm,
home, just like kind of conditioned with your drum on?
I did a couple times when I was younger, like in high school, early seasons of drum corps. Like one time I watched a whole episode of Family Guy, just standing
Standing
wearing
there with your
quads.
drum.
Yes.
No way, dude. Can you imagine? I could just imagine your parents coming in like,
Yeah,
all right.
that's what happened. They're like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm getting stronger." I think my legs shaking.
You're just standing there. Oh,
Yeah,
that's so
trying to
good.
watch Family Guy to distract myself.
Right. I usually did the exercises that I knew kicked my ass, like box
Mm,
drill, circle drill. We
yeah.
had one at Mandarin's that was really difficult. What was it? It was 32, 64, 32, and it's just a flat line. So you start in the center, you go
Uh-huh.
32 to the left,
Oh, uh-huh.
64 to the right, and then
Uh-huh.
32 back to the center. And
So it's
then,
like half of plush drill.
yeah. And then once you halt, you go to the 45 and you do the same thing at an oblique.
Uh,
And then you do it again going forward and then back oblique, backwards, all the way around. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 reps of 32, 64, 32. And then they bump it up. And that was just one like cycle. And then they
oh
bump it up.
wow.
Yeah. So world class is obviously more challenging.
Yeah.
But was there any time you felt at Blue Coats like you were struggling a lot, like on tour all days after the audition process?
Well, I arrived like 5 days after moving started
Mm-hmm.
because I had final exams. So when I got there, I had to catch up. Everyone already knew the opener. I was that guy.
Yeah.
um, but go out during lunch, figure out the drill. Um, so just that feeling of needing to catch up in the beginning, but I caught up at a pretty decent pace. Um, I do remember the middle of tour, just kind of missing my non-drum corps friends
Mm,
and family.
right.
You know, I missed that home circle, and so I would make calls home like every 1 to 2 nights just to see how people are doing,
That's
and
cool.
yeah, hearing other people's voices that I'm familiar with. It also kind of like recharged me in a way.
Mm,
Aside from that, I never really struggled. I never felt like we got our butts kicked horribly
yeah.
while I was there. There was one day, yeah, there was one day that really sucked. It was July 5th, 2012. It was the day
You
after
remember the
4th of
day?
July. I
Wow.
do because
Must have been
well,
real
actually
bad. I
yeah,
don't
the Fourth
remember
of
the
July was
days.
pretty bad too. We did like 3 parades
I was
in
gonna say parade day.
Iowa. Luckily, we got to wear hike shorts and a t-shirt. We
Okay,
weren't
good.
in uniform.
Oh god, that would
But
suck.
I remember I was so over it that I stopped playing and I just held. I like asked someone from the front ensemble, "Can I get a water bottle?" Because they would bring the water bottle. You know, you
Yeah.
hydrate. And so we're
They had
just
such a
playing show
sweet
tunes.
gig. They're just not doing anything.
Yeah.
It's like,
And so
yeah.
I would just hold on to the water bottle and I would just march with the water bottle like that.
The rest
I
of the
stopped
line's like,
playing.
what are you doing, dude?
Yeah, I stopped playing. Uh, yeah, so that was 4th of July. And then after that, we had the rest of the day to ourselves. So the quad line We're like, let's go to Buffalo Wild Wings. You know, that's what you do on tour.
Yeah. Eat
And
crap food when you can.
I got like 18 wings.
It's a lot.
18 hot,
It's a
super
lot.
hot,
Yeah, knowing you,
and
you
fries.
get the hot ones,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And then after that, we were just walking and it was like, yo, there's a Chuck E. Cheese right there. And I'm not gonna lie, Chuck E. Cheese pizza is pretty good. And we were all like, yeah, it is pretty good. Let's go get some.
After
So
Buffalo Wild Wings.
right after, like maybe 2 hours after. And so then
That's
we went, we went to Chuck E. Cheese. We all got our own pizza,
oh my
and
god.
we wrecked havoc in the arcade area. And then, so yeah, you put all this stuff in your body. At some point, you got to face it, and that was July 5th
Oh no.
in Iowa. Hot, so hot, so humid. We're doing circle drill, and one at a time, Qual was like, "Oh, I gotta go," and we're far away from the school, but up on top of this hill, there is a single porta potty
Oh,
just up on this hill,
just a
and it's hot. And we go, and then suddenly, I don't want to do it. You know, I'm hoping that it's not gonna hit me.
oh no. You
Like
can like see your future before you.
yes, I'm like, no, no, it happened to him. It won't happen to me, even though we ate the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. All of a sudden, you know, you're
Oh,
going to the left in circle drill. Yep.
oh.
Whoa. You're like, oh no, guys, I gotta go. But there was this understanding,
Yeah.
this mutual understanding. It's not that we're trying to escape circle drill,
Right.
which sucks. It's we get it. So I muster up the courage to face the demon, and I go up. I open up the door. Out come these flies. I look in there. It's filled to the brim.
Oh
It's
god.
filled to the brim. But you do what you gotta do, man.
Yeah. Just hover. That's all you gotta do. Just
Yeah,
hover.
exactly.
You're
Don't
strong.
touch it.
You've been training all. This is what you've been training
Exactly.
for.
Quads on fire. Sweating, sweating.
I
Like,
remember.
you never really sweat until you go to grab the toilet paper,
Oh
and
yeah.
you're so wet that it just
Yeah.
crumbles up in your hand.
Yep. The
So yeah,
porta potties at Mars were like that.
yes.
It's like, God, it's really hot outside. But it's so hot inside the porta potty, you come outside and you're actually kind of like cold. It's like, oh wow, I'm really sweaty and there's a breeze. I didn't know there was a breeze. I should put a shirt on. The next question would be, what did you do to overcome it?
I had to tell myself that I can do it.
That's funny. How about the vibe? How was the vibe of? Because you only marched 12, right?
Yeah, I watched it 1 year.
How was the vibe?
The vibe was awesome, especially within the percussion section, especially within the drum line.
Yeah.
There was this huge sense of camaraderie. Like, we're all really freaking good at what we do. That's why we're here. Every single person on this line earned a spot in this line because we are skilled.
It's a good way to put
And yeah, and we know we're skilled. So if someone's ticking, that person knows they're ticking. We don't need someone to tell us.
Yeah, you don't have to like glare at them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. We know. And I think because we had that understanding, like, when you do tick, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You're gonna make mistakes.
Right.
When it happens, you do what you need to do to fix that. If that means doing a couple more reps on your own during the lunch break, you do that. If that means showing up early and pecking through the part, you know, getting in your hands, you do that. And, you know, everybody at some point did that. Every single person on that line. So I think because everyone did that when it was needed, you know, no one did it every day.
Right.
We all showed up stronger.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and we liked each other's company.
That's cool.
We knew that we could be really good.
Yeah.
If we just showed up.
Right. Hannah. Where's Hannah? Hannah's in here. I remember the Viz staff in 2009 would drive their car behind the running block and not let anybody stop. Is that true? Is that for real?
That sounds like it could be real.
No way.
Honestly, that first year I was in my own bubble for like the whole thing, so I was a little oblivious.
Good Lord. Yeah, there's no way that would be
Oh,
allowed
like on the
anymore.
road,
Yeah, the
probably.
dirt road.
Well, no, we would
Oh, you guys
run
would
to
go
the
to the
hall.
hall.
We would
That's
go to
right.
the hall. I think that did happen on the road.
Good gravy. Amanda has a good question. Why blue coats?
Why blue coats?
Yeah.
Their personality.
The
I
core's
first,
personality or the staff and members?
it started with the drumline's personality.
Okay.
I first saw them when they came out to the West Coast at Stanford. I think it was 2009. And I went to go watch them in the lot. And they had a sense of humor.
Right.
Like they were smiling.
I remember that.
They were enjoying what they're doing. They're laughing. I'm laughing. I'm like, wow, that fits my personality so well.
Right.
You know, I've never felt authentic when I'm just like,
Right.
no expression.
Yeah.
At all. I've always felt my most authentic when I can like smile and vibe out with what I'm doing.
That makes sense. That's cool.
And that was where it started.
That's cool. That's really cool. So yeah, going on to like aging out, how was your age out experience? You know, some people are pretty happy to be done and to go home, kind of like you had already touched on a little bit.
I was.
Yeah.
Aging out. I remember, well, first off, I thought I lost my uniform after the performance. So I like went all around Lucas Oil looking for my uniform, and it was in the bus where it was. Yeah, it was in the bus where it was supposed to be. I checked there, but I didn't look good enough.
Yeah.
And so I went on this 45-minute rampant search for it. Anyways, I remember the feeling of turning in my uniform, putting my drums back on the truck, and like this feeling, it was a feeling of completion.
Okay.
Is what it felt like. Like I felt like my journey was completed.
Yeah, I felt that too when I put my drum away for the last time.
And
it's weird.
I screamed.
Really?
I screamed. I had my hands up in the air. I was looking at Lucas Oil Stadium, and I was just like, I let out so much energy.
Yeah.
I let it out to like just release it.
Right.
And it felt good. I came home. I definitely felt the most post-tour depression after aging out compared to previous seasons. Could be because I aged out. Could be because that was my first world-class season. Probably a combination of the both.
Right.
And most of the people there were not from the Bay Area.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You know, so I couldn't like hang out with them.
Yeah, I feel that. So speaking of teaching, your main, I would say probably your main school that you've taught at is Lee, right? I mean,
Yeah.
You've taught a bunch of places. You taught at Logan too.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say like the one you're probably the most predominantly influencing would be Lee, right?
Yeah, I've had the most growth
right.
teaching at Lee.
When did you start? Like what year? How many years have you been there?
I was a quad tech in 2010 or 2011.
So the year
I think it was
that you were at
2011.
B-Corps, that you left B-Corps, going to Blue Coats almost too, right? Dang.
Yeah, around that time I was quad tech, and then after Blue Coats is when I started riding.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I remember that because my riding was very similar to what I had just played.
Right. So, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
So Lee's been around, you know. Alan Christensen went to Lee, but Lee was never a like powerhouse as far as I know. I mean it was good, but it was never, I would say, on the level that it is now.
It's a
And
totally different monster these
yeah,
days.
completely different. And obviously that might sound like a brag, but I think a lot of that is because of you, like what you did at that school
Oh, thank you.
to revolutionize everything that is what it is today. What
I
did you
think.
do? What were you gonna say?
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, what did you do to take it from when you started? It was just an A class group, right?
Yeah.
What did you do as you began to take over more control of the program, for lack of a better way to
Yeah.
put that, but putting more
Mhm.
control in your hands? What did you do to take it to being a world class Dayton WGI finalist in less than a decade?
Less than a decade. Well, there were many things that went into that. I'd say the first driving factor was me knowing that these students are no different than the students I went to high school with. When we were at James Logan, we were considered a world-class program. But I know the ins and outs of world-class programs.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you get people who really get it, and sometimes you get people who are still in the learning stages.
Right.
Sometimes there's people who don't really want it,
Yeah.
but they're there because they enjoy it. Um, and I saw those patterns at least, like, oh, y'all are no different
Mm-hmm.
than these kids.
Yeah.
Like, let's just say we're open class. Let's bump it up.
So as an
We're
A
gonna be,
class group, you said like, "Hey, let's just be open class."
yeah. I said no. Y'all are gonna be an open class. I didn't even give them. I didn't ask them.
Right.
I just told them. I was like, we need to go that direction because they can do it.
Right.
They can do it if somebody gives them that opportunity. So I said, we're gonna be an open class. We're bumping up a division. I remember talking to a lot of the students, like when they're all gathered up, and I would say, like, understand that you are competing in a different category now. You're with a higher caliber of ensembles, and if you don't work hard, you're gonna get your butt kicked.
Right.
That was my go-to
I'm
line.
sure. I'm sure the students were hyped for it because they. I mean,
Yeah.
whenever you tell them like, I know for me when I was younger, I wanted that recognition. Like
Mm-hmm.
the higher grade that you're grouped in or class that you're grouped in, the later you go on, which means a bigger crowd, a cooler show. So I wanted that. I was like, yeah, dude, that's cool. That's great. That means we're going to be the last ones to go on. Everybody's going to be in the stadium. It's going to be awesome. But what
There are
about,
definitely bigger crowds.
yeah, what about like the parents and the band director? How did they take that? Because I know
That's the
that's a
next step.
completely 180 difference because they have a
Yeah.
lot
Well,
more things that go into that.
back then there were no props. I hand painted the floor.
By yourself?
Actually, I got some of the students to help me because we just the floor design was so simple. It was just like hand painted, and they were like all red. And then eventually, halfway through the floor, it spread into different colors.
Hmm.
And it was all hands. That's all I knew how to do. That's
Dang.
like tapping out on my artistic abilities with floor design.
Right.
So we got by with that. Props, we just needed an easel. One of the students had an easel. And yeah, we got by with it. Um, the parents were always on board, very supportive from the beginning. I didn't need to convince them of anything, which
That's
is
awesome.
great.
Yeah.
Yes, that is
Makes life
fantastic.
so much
And
easier.
we're so lucky to be able to have parents like that, a parent organization.
Still,
Still,
they're still all about
I
it.
know. It's incredible. And again, that's a huge reason why the ensemble is the way they are today.
Right.
It's the parent support. Um, so yeah, told everybody y'all are going to be an open class, and I'm writing a harder show, whatever that is. And honestly, those beats were probably some of the hardest beats I've ever written for
Wow.
any school, because I didn't take into consideration like pacing,
Right.
and it was just like, no, this is hard.
You're just like looking
Figure
at
it
the
out.
sheets. Demand. Okay. I got demand.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
And then I remember the first competition. I think there were like 3 or 4 groups,
Mm-hmm.
and it was at Logan.
Right.
It started with piano, and the electronics didn't work.
Oh.
And I was like, well, what are we gonna do? All right, just play your part. So through the little piano speakers on the keyboard, that was how it started.
Right.
And students were arriving as we were pushing on. Literally, as we're pushing on, students are arriving because they took the SATs.
Oh.
It was a horrible
Dang, even
setup.
back there. Okay, so Lee has always had like a weird, for anybody that doesn't
Yes,
know, like a weird SAT schedule every
yes,
single year. So you
every
guys
year,
even
man.
had, it sounds like you guys had it worse back then.
Yes.
That's awful. I'm so sorry.
So there, I'm getting texts from parents like, "We're on our way. We're exiting the freeway." I'm like, "Okay, sweet. We are looking about to go in." And so we're pushing in equipment.
Ah,
All of a sudden, like 4 or 5 students like flock in, grab their equipment, push on, and then they won that show.
oh my God.
Competitively, they won it. Um, from my perspective, they held together. Well, like, sweet, we did the thing.
That's all.
And then,
That's all that needed to happen.
yes, yes, all needed to happen. And then they got that taste of like, oh man, people recognize our skill.
Once they get that.
They got the taste. And so then they went through the rest of that season just like killing it.
Yeah,
And they were up to any challenge I gave them.
that's awesome. Because you
And so
presented
then,
them with a tangible but kind of intimidating goal, but you
yeah,
gave a lot of
exactly.
positive reinforcement, and then they actually did it. That,
Yeah,
dude, I love when that happens because that proves, like, see, you can trust me. I know what I'm talking
y'all
about.
can do this.
Trust me. I'm telling you guys, you're great, and hopefully you
Yes.
believe in yourselves now too.
Yes. And so the next year I was like, let's do it again. All right, you guys, we're going to world class.
Damn.
We're going world class. But we were also going to Dayton that year.
So
I
in
somehow convinced the band director that
three
we
years,
should go to Dayton.
was that 3 years? A class
That
to
was
open class to
oh,
world. 2 years. So 2 years. In 2 years,
yeah,
you
when
went
I
A
first
class to open to WGI.
yeah, my
Damn,
first time writing for them was when they went to open class. And
that's
so when we
crazy.
went to Dayton, I was like, okay, we're gonna go to Dayton in open class. Let's try and be realistic here, and then we're gonna compete locally in world class. Because in my mind, it was like, all right, if we just
Ah,
get world class feedback and we tailor it that way, we should be successful in open class. And we got our butt kicked in the beginning, as we usually do. And there was a show where um, they were just on fire. They were hitting things, and I was like, "Whoa, you guys are pretty freaking good." And then, competitively speaking, they beat their opponent, and they were hyped.
yeah,
They were like, because again, they're getting a taste of it, a taste of like when you work hard and you perform well,
right.
it it gets recognized by the crowd and
Yeah.
it gets recognized by the judges and your peers. And then they went to Dayton, and we were like second to last in all of open class.
Yeah.
But when we went to Dayton, we forgot the metronome. We didn't
Oh,
have a met.
all of Dayton, you
Uh,
didn't have a Met.
all of Dayton, no
Oh,
metronome.
rough.
We had to learn how to do Dayton.
Yeah, I mean,
You know?
you kind of just got to do that because it's
Yes.
not going to be like every other circuit show. It's just not.
No.
Unless
You
you
don't
have
just show
somebody
up.
that goes in that knows everything about Dayton, that's done it for years,
Yeah, that
you're
was not me.
probably going to have kind of a rough first Dayton
Yes.
year.
And it was for us.
Yeah.
It was very rough. But we learned a lot, and they got to see, what goes on in this activity. And
Right.
like the parents got to see like what other groups are doing. And, they I also painted that floor that year.
Dang.
And then it rained. We left it out on the basketball courts overnight, and then it rained.
Ugh, the
And
one
I
time
remember
in California that
Yeah,
rains.
Ed called me. He was like, "Hey, it's raining. We need to put the floor away. Can you come right now?" I was like, I'm in Union City right now. I can head over there." He's like, "Okay, we'll just take care of it right now." So yeah, it looked very low budget,
Yeah.
like as far as the aesthetic was.
Yeah, in the Bay
But
Area it might be okay, but Dayton,
yes,
it's
yes,
different.
because it
Yeah.
was. I didn't
Yeah, of
know, like,
course.
I went and I made all the props myself.
Right.
And so the parents were able to see the aesthetic of other groups.
Hmm.
And so then the next year was No Strings on Me, and that was when you came.
Yep.
You you and Horatio, and who was teaching bass that year? Was
Uh,
that Chris Stylen?
Chris Thielen. Yep.
There we go. And Jeff and Chavi,
Chavi.
so we had a team.
Yeah.
And then that was the first year I could tell the parents, like, yo, you saw those groups we competed with? They had a digital floor.
Yeah.
And we can have a digital floor too.
Yeah.
And they were down.
It's
They were
crazy
down.
seeing the progression the like 3 or 4 years before I came there
Mm,
to knowing what it was like from my time there till now. Because that's a
yeah.
dude, that was like I mean, Lee has always been, and I think anybody, especially here, would know that like Lee has just been doing this, but that first amount of growth was such a steep curve for that first 3 years that you did that.
It was very
That's
stressful,
a
I
lot.
must say.
That's a
I
lot.
must say.
But I mean, it takes
Uh,
a lot of confidence in what you're saying. Like, if you being the person that's
yeah.
directing that and saying, like, dude, I really believe this. Like, this is what it takes.
Yes.
And I mean, that wouldn't have happened if you weren't as confident in knowing what you know and pushing it with
Yeah.
the way that it needed to be pushed.
There was a lot of confidence, and it wasn't, what's the word? Some of it's smoke and mirrors. You just got to appear
Yeah,
confident with your
right.
word,
Yeah,
especially when you're younger and getting started.
right.
And I was a performer. I know how to perform confidence, you know?
Right.
And yeah, and also back then I felt like I was doing too much,
Hmm.
but it was because I couldn't let go of things. I wanted to write all the parts. I wanted to do the floor. I wanted to do the props. I want to do this. I
Yeah,
want to do that. So when I look at it, I could be like, "Yep,
that's
I did that.
me. Yeah,
I did that."
yeah,
But it was exhausting.
yeah,
It was so tiring every year, totally unsustainable. And then, like, as time went on, I slowly saw, like, oh, I don't have to do this. Like,
yeah.
there are other people that can also do this.
Right, right,
And it's like the more I started to let go, the higher the quality became of everything.
right. So, what would you
Yeah.
say is the biggest thing that you had learned from all of your time being at Lee? Even just, you were assistant band director, I think, for a year,
Mm,
including that time, because you've transitioned into like physical therapy, and especially now, like there's not a lot of stuff going on with music.
yeah.
Um, in hindsight, what would you say up until right now are some of the biggest things you've learned being in your roles at Lee?
They do not care what you know until they know that you care.
It's a good way to put that. That's
Number one,
that's it. Like that's
they don't give two shits what you have to say until they know that you care about them. And so, to an extent, I would say getting to know the members and like having a genuine conversation with them, asking how they're doing, remembering how they're doing, keeping up with them, how their vibe is, that I would say is more important than making sure they could play their beats in time.
hmm,
Um, it it also it takes a village to run the program, like I was just talking about.
yeah, especially larger programs.
I've Yes, I've learned to frequently express gratitude and appreciation
Hmm,
for all the people who help in any way, from like parents to the band director to the staff to the custodians, to anyone we cross paths with.
Fred.
Exactly. The homie, Carlito.
Yeah, Celia. I love Celia. She's my favorite.
Yeah. Like all of those
Yeah,
people put energy into making sure that this program is successful.
right.
And so if we want the best from those people, we've got to express gratitude
That's really cool.
towards them. And luckily, when you have a team of people, it allows somebody to step away to take care of that.
Yeah,
Because if you're trying to like run the show and do that at the same time, one of those is going to suffer a little bit.
right.
But if you can be like, yo, can you guys run? Like when I was there, luckily I had someone like you on the team.
Yeah,
Like someone like, yo, can you warm them up? You're like, dude,
I just need a minute. Yeah.
I could warm them up. And I felt comfortable leaving,
Yeah.
you know, so then I could go do these things.
Right.
So you need a team too.
That's awesome.
It's part of the village.
Matt says, and getting lucky as hell with the snare break fivelets at finals with no strings on me.
Hey, I know what he's talking about.
First time I ever heard it clean. Didn't know what clean was. That's pretty. All right, that's fair.
Spot on. But for real though, that finals run was magic.
It was really good.
It was magic. I was like, oh my god, we've never sounded like this. Thank y'all for showing up.
I remember being up there. I was like,
yes, those five letters.
What is going on right now? That's so funny.
Okay.
So, just moving to, like teaching blue coats and all that. Just quickly, how was your experience teaching a world championship, highest musical level, honestly, that you can be in the activity group compared to like high school? What did you think? Like you had said you had compared the kids at Lee to the kids at Logan, and you were like, hey, these are the same kids,
They are.
But
yeah.
Do you feel that same way about the kids in 16 compared to the kids you taught at Lee?
No, very different caliber of person. They're older.
Right.
They were older. I don't think anyone in that line was 16.
Right.
So because they're older and they auditioned and like invested, they flew out, like they've gone through all these things.
Yeah.
I feel like it holds a little bit more weight in their lives, and they're living there.
Yeah. They had a tangible investment, like money from their pocket was given away for this experience.
Yes. The kids that lead, they can all do drum corps.
Absolutely. Yeah.
They could all be there if they want to.
Yeah.
If they want to. So I was working with people who were in their position who wanted to went out and did the thing.
Okay.
So you're working with very hardworking, driven people. So the members, fantastic. My favorite part of working there is having the opportunity to work with such high caliber musicians, because then it really tests my knowledge. Like, do I really know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I'm telling them something, but it's not getting better.
Yeah, you can't mask, because they'll know when you're bullshitting.
Yes.
They know. Like
Yes. They're smart.
They're smart. Yeah, they know.
They're smart. And so it pushed me to reflect on my teaching. I learned to say less as the years went on. Like, if I speak less, I will say less wrong things.
I was going to say, if I speak less, they'll understand more. But
and that too.
I like the way you put that. If I speak less, I'll say less wrong. That's a good point.
Yes.
That's a good way to put that.
So I learned that over my time there. Also, the staff there is incredible.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely felt like I needed to step up to the plate. When you're around people like as intelligent as these other people, I'm like, whoa, dude, I don't feel like I am as experienced or talented as these people.
Right.
But I'm gonna try my best.
Right.
And they were supportive.
Yeah.
No one ever came at me like, yo, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
No one ever came at me that much. It was always support from the team, and it felt like a big family.
That's awesome.
Everyone involved there.
That's super awesome. What was the hardest thing about teaching blue coats?
Hardest thing was making sure that my voice still had purpose. When you're there for 3 weeks at a time and you're talking all day, eventually it becomes white noise. So there were times where I would just go periods of time without saying anything.
Okay.
Because like when I was a member,
there's a lot of information coming at them.
Exactly. And when I was a member, I felt like I got the least amount of feedback in regards to my drumming, but the feedback that I did get made the most amount of progress.
Okay.
Yes. And so I felt like my instructors, they trusted my ability to identify my own problems. So they didn't need to come say, yo, you were slow on the roll in that direction change.
Right.
Sometimes it was just like a glance, and I would glance back and be like,
sorry.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. I did that.
That's cool. Will Fisher says, what are your thoughts on the challenges students and educators are going to face in their programs when things come back, such as larger amounts of new members, newbies,
Mm-hmm.
older members having less experience now that actually that's
Mm-hmm.
a really good point. Like people that are
That's
now going to
true.
be seniors that were sophomores when they did this. Um,
Dang.
I didn't even honestly I didn't even think about that, Will, until you just mentioned it.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like Justin might be graduating
Yeah.
the next time I get to drum with him.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't even.
That's what I. That's
Wow.
what I was thinking of.
Yeah. Or having less momentum from the previous year.
Yeah.
What do you
There
think?
will definitely be less momentum.
Yeah.
There will be, and I think it's in our best interest to not fight that and not hold that against anybody. Because like we could talk all day about how we need to cover lost ground.
Right.
We need to cover lost ground, but it's not anyone's fault.
But what's the ground
You
you
know,
lost? Like, are you thinking just
the
points?
momentum.
Like
I'm
points?
thinking
Yeah.
of momentum. I'm thinking of culture.
Right.
I think the first priority needs to be establishing that culture that we're used to having. Like, can you get your students to show up on time, be ready to go? Can you get your students to buy in so that they go home and they work on what they need to work on, so they show up ready to go? You know, because those are things that have to be like molded into programs over years.
Right.
A strong culture and identity.
Yeah.
So it's going to be more important than ever to work on the culture, which is the relationships. I think the relationships will be more important than any score you could ever receive.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you focus on that, the scores hopefully will follow suit as well.
Yeah.
You know, they're
Yeah.
all connected, but you can't start with the end goal and hope that everything follows out. Like you can't start on like, all right, well, let's focus on playing really well and getting good scores, because then everybody's
Yeah.
it's just gonna be a cluster. Nobody's gonna want to be there. You know, so
Yeah.
that's a really good point. I think going off of what you were saying too, as far as rebuilding, just centering what you're doing on just the education. You
Mm-hmm.
know, if you know, obviously for building the culture and the purposes of the program, but just getting back to centering on education, especially if you're talking about, you know, newer members now being the older members.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be, you're going to have to spend a lot of time really thinking about, okay, what do I need to educate them on first?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Lee is even talking about doing smaller shows. Smaller productions. So I mean, even as far as that goes, like you're not going to have to write something as demanding as it was before if we're strictly talking about the marching activity, because I think in general most groups are going to take a hit. You know, even like Chino Hills, they're going to take a little bit of a hit. They're not going to be able to come out of the gate doing exactly what they did 2 years ago. You know, they are going to have to take a little bit of a step down and restart and re-educate and rebuild the curriculum. So I think if you spend, as an educator now, like I'm already focusing on my educational curriculum. That way, when we do start, I can go, okay, here it is. We're starting with this. We're going to start from square one and build our way back up. You know, you can't just like, oh, cool, we're opening back up. All right, let's just, I guess we'll play some eights, right? You know, you have to have a plan for going through. And I think also using tools like Zoom right now to supplement that education, so the students are also ready to snap back into it when they get the opportunity. So it's like they didn't lose as much, you know, which I think a lot of groups are doing. But unfortunately, there are those programs that don't have the funding. They just can't make it happen, you know. So I think, yeah, those two things, focusing on the culture and for educators, focusing on just the education. You've moved into the realm of like physical fitness and physical therapy. How, let's start with Amanda's question. How do you feel that you can relate what you've learned from marching and from teaching into what we call the real world? So a job, just like a real 9-to-5 job.
That is a great question. That's a great question. And I talk about that all the time to my coworkers, and I don't know if they understand like what exactly I'm talking about. Sense of team. You build a sense of teamwork in the marching arts.
Right.
You work on your communication skills in the marching arts. You know, you work on your level of accountability and performance. When you're in the real world, sometimes you don't know, you haven't been working on your show for 3 months. You know, if you got to figure something out right then and right there, and you need to play it cool, like you know what you're doing. That's a performance. You're performing through discomfort. And, you know, when you have that kind of confidence, it appears as confidence, you know, and some of it is convincing yourself that I am confident, I can get through this. That makes you an extremely valuable asset to any team that you are a part of.
Okay, that's cool.
So,
that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's a great way to put that. I think that, you know, for me too, it's weird. Like me and Amanda talk about it a lot, being from the marching activity and doing all that. We feel a lot of times, sounds weird, but like the more mature employees sometimes at jobs.
mm-hmm.
Not as far as like, oh, we just crack jokes all the time, that type of maturity, but the ability to work as a team and the ability to see those fundamental little things where it's like, we're not going to function as well if we're not a team. Like if we don't invest in those team things, you know? So yeah, I think we have a natural leg up almost from some people because that's what we do. You know, we're such a team-based activity.
We have an advantage.
Yeah. So speaking of Forte, or well, not speaking of Forte, but your physical therapy, physical fitness thing. What is Forte Athletics?
Forte Athletics is a place for marching performers to acquire some resources regarding fitness and well-being. Like I told you earlier, when I was younger, I didn't have any sort of mentorship. No one in my life that could present me with fitness advice, tips, training. So I'm doing my best to help shed some light on how to take care of this magnificent machine we've been given.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I really want to play a video, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to get the screen back to where I want it, so I'll wait until the end. Okay. But in case you guys have not seen what he's been doing, you can find his Instagram on, at forte.athletics on Instagram. It's FORTE.athletics. It's really cool stuff. I mean, especially musicians out there, he's blending physical fitness and music together.
Fitness and music.
It's so cool.
It's Forte Athletics, baby.
Dude, it's so cool. It's super embarrassing, but I tried. We have a jump rope here, and I tried doing some of the stuff you were doing. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
Not yet.
It's not yet. Sorry.
There you go.
I can't do it yet. It's really, really difficult.
It's challenging. It gets your brain working.
Yeah, you make it look so simple. But I've
been doing it for some years.
I don't really like working out very much. But when I was doing it with the jump rope, I was noticing I wasn't thinking about the working out portion of it. I was thinking about the timing. So I noticed I was like, I was having a little bit more fun. So I've been trying it. I've been trying to get to it. Do you have any do you have any recommendations for how to get better at that? Specifically, just the jump roping part. Yeah,
like you're fresh starting out. I started by just setting an interval timer, 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest for 10 minutes. And I just did what I could during that time.
So you just went. Just keep going.
I just went. Okay. 45 seconds of going.
It's a good idea.
And the more you do it, the more you start to understand the mechanics of it. And just like drumming.
Okay.
You start to understand the mechanics, the timing. It feels a lot like drumming.
Right.
It feels a lot like playing quads.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and play the Flawless Flams one. ridiculous, man. I don't know how. You had just talked about learning how to do that, like less than like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
How long did it take you to
yeah.
grind on that and learn that?
Well, I knew what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to put a cover to that. I knew it was mathematically possible.
Hmm.
I just needed to learn how to
Yeah.
speed
I'm
back.
gonna play the side swing pyramid one. Is that a good one?
That's a good one.
All right, I'm gonna
You can
play that.
play if you see the one um, where I'm wearing a blue shirt.
Yeah.
That's a pretty sweet one.
Bird hype. Dude, it's just you incorporating like click tracks into this. It's something I've never seen happen. That's so cool.
And every little blip going across those numbers, I did that manually.
Did you really?
Yep, frame by frame.
It's pretty good, dude.
Thanks.
I love your little slap at the end every time. Do you have? I think you said you have a promo code, right? Where you can go
I do.
get one of those. What are those?
I do. If you go to forteathletics.net and you use the code drumline30, all capital letters, drumline30, it'll be 30% off of the ropes until Wednesday.
That's awesome. Thank you. I'm
Welcome.
gonna purchase one.
And these ropes are perfect for beginners, people who are just starting their journey, want to get into it. And what I love most about it is that you can use it from the beginning of your journey all the way into the advanced stages.
That's awesome.
Like,
And those were the ones you were using in the video, right?
yep, those are the only ones I use in the videos.
That's awesome. Do they come in different
Same
colors or?
same model. Yep, you can get blue and black, or you can get red and black,
blue
or
and
you
black.
can get green and black, or you can get all white.
That'd be cool. Do you have anything in the future that you want to share with us?
Yeah, I am working on a fitness program right now. It is either going to be 90 days
Whoa.
or it's going to be 90 days. 60 days, 90 days. I'm still trying to decide. And it is going to be, it's like a fitness crescendo, you know, because when performers particularly can get back on the field, you're going to want to be in shape.
Yeah.
Already, you know, so this will help people hit the shape or hit the field in great shape.
That's cool.
And it's going to use a lot. It will train the skill component of marching band, like agility, balance, power, flexibility, speed, strength. All these things that you need for marching band are going to be programmed in circuits, and it'll be follow along.
That's awesome. That
So,
sounds great.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
That's in the future. Thank you. I am too. It's gonna be a ton of work,
Yeah.
but it's something that I've wanted to do since like 2015.
I remember you talking about it. Yeah. This is, I mean, it's going to be, you're going to be the guy to do it. You're definitely going to be the one that
I
makes it
gotta
happen.
be.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, Daniel, I appreciate it. That was a long, yeah, it was like 2 hours. That was great. I really appreciate it, man.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Likewise, I enjoy talking about music. Especially
Yeah,
with
seems like everybody else does too, man. This is great stuff. I think people are really going to benefit from not just these talks, but especially what you're doing with just keeping in shape and relating it to music. I think people are really going to attach onto that. So all the best. I hope
so.
Have lots of success with it. I will have all of the links and things posted on my profile. What is it? Drumline 30, you said, is the promo code?
Drumline 30.
Cool. Awesome.
All
man.
capital letters.
Well, thank you again. I will talk to you soon.
30. I will talk to you soon, Joseph.
All right, see you, buddy.
Adios, amigo. Bye.
So yeah, this is going to be something I'm doing every Sunday. New guests every weekend. If you guys liked it, I hope you stick around, subscribe, and we'll do this more often. Also, if you guys have any questions, if you guys have any recommendations for guests, or anything like that, I'm always open to hearing about it. Yeah, this is the first of many. Daniel is one of my greatest friends. Seriously, check out the stuff that he's doing. It is, I wouldn't think that saying it's life changing is too bold of a statement, because it really is. Like, if you dig into the things that he is saying and he's teaching, it's going to change your life. You know, the stuff that I've learned with him over the past 6 years, I've worked with him, only worked with him. Like, I've been friends with him since 2011, but having worked with him for like the past 6 or 7 years personally has changed my life in a lot of the greatest ways. And the stuff that he's doing with Forte is going to change your life. So hit him up, support him. Drumline30 is his promo code. So yeah, show some love to him, and I will see you guys in the next one. I appreciate it. See you guys soon.